It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Miriam Longe, and as usual are my co-hosts, my personal persons. Haja, Nima Akasha Zibiri.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. So today is your turn to do green, white, green.
You know,
okay.
I joined you too. Abi,
okay.
So finally, I just didn't have what to wear. And this, from my TVC wardrobe, I left it for the dry cleaners at home. So I decided to wear it so that I can return it.
Sometimes
to my wardrobe.
You know, that's something we should talk about. It's harder to always come up with outfits every day out.
My banter.
You were so excited this morning. Tell us.
Did you drink something?
If you see me this morning when I left home, you would not believe how I got excited. So I don't know. It's very just me being my goofy self. But I had something serious I wanted to banter. Yes.
Menopause.
Cable.
What happened to cable?
Power cables sparked, cut off in my area and killed. They said 2 to 3 people.
No
This is the
way.
second time it's happening. And we were sharing blames yesterday when we heard it. You know, out of annoyance, everybody was talking.
Yeah.
And my neighbor was saying, I want NEPA here. And I was like, we too community. Okay. If we have a 40 cable, would we have executives? Do people drive past it? Why is it not a matter of urgent concern amongst us that, you know, it's just gist, it was just gist. Because now we have complete blackout. And so everybody was now asking why, and then they were sharing blames. But I would like that the discourse also investigate, because I know this is their tradition. They'll put it off till there's a proper reconciliation of all the issues and the families are reached out to. It's just a sad thing. They said it was at night, and so we have the LG, entire West Africa plants in my area. And so the workers work late into the night, and some of them work close at 6 a.m. in the morning, working in the dark back home. They said it could be some of them that were affected.
That's really sad.
Very sad one.
Hi, Ramatu.
I'm fine.
Lovely orange.
Thank you.
It's popping.
Thank you. Same to you. So the beautiful. We just brought in our fonio acha. That was yesterday. It just arrived. So we have fonio acha for sale. You know, fonio acha is a special grain, very good for people with. If you are diabetic, it's a very great meal for you. You can just turn it and.
Can I bake with it?
Yes, you can bake with it. You can bake bread. You can do cookies. So many things, and then you can even people do use it to make pancakes. Very nice. You know, there's this local pancakes, and there's also the foreign kind of pancake.
I don't like the foreign one.
Local pancake that you put onions, pepper, everything.
The Nigerian
very
pancake,
nice. Yes, Nigerian pancakes. So you can actually use it for it. So we have in stock. We have so much. Please patronize me.
Are the prices still subsidized?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm doing
discount.
I'm doing promo.
Yes, said it though.
The oil
you just bought recently. You just bought.
My oil has finished.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you. We cook a lot.
This one that we booked has not delivered.
So oil now, give me the price. I need to get oil.
Yeah, then along the Lekki corridor, yesterday as I was driving, these beggars now, they've become very aggressive. You know how they will just, once your car is coming close, they just put that liquid soap and start. She just put it away. I was like, hey, she just scrubbed it and left it for me. She left it for me. I was like, I was not like, what? I told you not to put this thing. That was why I had to go and start looking for, you know, thank God inside the car we have that part where you put in water. I was able to just clean up water. I was just wondering, I was like, And that very morning in the morning,
women supporting women, because I've never seen a woman do it. Did you support women?
Did you dash out something?
Did you support a woman?
If I was telling her, no, don't put it.
I'd never seen a woman do it.
They do.
They are becoming aggressive now.
Wow, okay.
They just hit it back. And
honestly.
BC. How are you?
I'm all right. One of my Gen Zs resigned over WhatsApp. When I did not employ you over WhatsApp, no, he just sent me a WhatsApp message that she's not going to be coming anymore. Not taking permission, no, she's not going to be coming anymore. Something came up.
One more notice.
No notice.
Yeah, I'm sure it was this morning she sent it.
Okay,
I was just like this, like, You see this Gen Z thing we are talking about? I did not employ you over WhatsApp. Why you resign? I just said, you know what? Hand over the company phones, laptops, and everything to the person in the shop, right? And don't worry. Thank you so much. It was lovely working with you. I just called the agency that got. I said, come and replace. Somebody has gone over WhatsApp. He said, they didn't know, they didn't tell them anything. I said, that's it.
Okay, you got this person through an
Yeah,
agency.
right.
So even
No, I
the
won't
agency
try that again.
is not aware.
Aware.
Let me give you my own gist. I had agency staff who told me that she needed a day off for her birthday. I was like, why? She had just started a few days before or a week before. I was like, why? Is your birthday a public holiday? She says, well, whenever it's my birthday, my people just, they just spirit me away. It's like they kidnap me for the whole day. So on that day, not happened. I said, I'm sorry. You work for me now. You must show up. She didn't show up. And then she gave me, not only did she not show up on her own public holiday, she gave me 2 extra days. And then she showed up. I showed up like, all right, let's continue from where we stopped. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, for me, it's just, sometimes I think we put too much, we expect too much from them. They're quite young. Do you understand?
No, I was once young,
No. They're quite young. Some of the things that they're doing and some of the positions we give them is quite, above their mental capacity.
No, that means
forget that they have skill sets, especially with the computer and whatever, but maturity is still lacking. They're still growing up. So I'm thinking that, because when I think of when we started, some of the jobs that we were given wasn't as much. I said maybe they give you like a teacher or something like that, but I just think we should think more about it, that they know a lot about computers. Does not mean to give them all those. We're talking of Gen Z, not millennials. Yeah. All right, ladies, let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll take today's top stories. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're looking at the papers right now, and we're starting with The Nation. A major headline in The Nation is Mba joining APC not out of fear, but for prosperity. Okay. They say carnival-like reception for Enugu governor, elected appointed officials into ruling party. IMF raises Nigeria's growth to 3.9%. Existing revenue formula outdated, says Ramfac chairman. PDP chairman, legal advisor clash in court. Credit in math not mandatory for arts in new admission policy. Interesting. Governor Oyebanji is APC's consensus candidate in Ekiti. Senate Electoral Act Amendment Bill for passage by December. Who would like to go first?
Not mandatory. So a review of admission policy into tertiary institutions, which will liberalize it to accommodate more qualified candidates, have been undertaken by the federal government. The review was made known yesterday by the Federal Ministry of Education spokesperson, Folasade Boriowo, who intended to provide opportunities for additional 300,000 candidates to gain admission yearly. In the current dispensation, they said no more than 700,000 of about 2 million candidates that applied for admissions are able to make it. Now, in the new plan, mathematics will no longer be a compulsory subject for students seeking admission into the tertiary institutions to study arts and humanities-related courses. The statement said that the revised national guidelines for entry requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions aim to eliminate unnecessary barriers while maintaining academic standards. Under the new framework, students seeking admission into arts and humanities programs will only be required to present credits in relevant subjects, including English language, while mathematics will remain compulsory for science, technology, and social science disciplines. Now, for the polytechnics, the levels, they said candidates must obtain a minimum of 4 credit passes, including English language for non-science courses and mathematics for science-based programs. Mathematics and English remain compulsory for candidates at the higher national diploma level. So there's a lot of details here, and I'm sure we're going to be taking the story later today.
Yeah, we'll be taking that in our hot topic.
Let me take the Senate's majority leader, who is also, I think, he's also the vice chair of the Committee on Constitutional Review, Senator Bamidele Okpeyemi. He was talking about moving the Electoral Act 2022 and concluding it before December so that we'll, of course, get it to the president. He reminded us about the failure, the inability, not failure, of the late President Buhari to sign it because they moved that act to him in 2022 just as he was, handing over. And so he couldn't sign some of the correction of certain identified lapses in the Electoral Act. But he said they will do better now. They'll get it to the president before the end of 2025 December, and so that all of that will be done, dusted, preparing for the 2027 elections. And so, but what he didn't state, I kept reading the story over and over again in case I missed it, is whether it's the same Electoral Act amendment we're talking about of, having our elections done and dusted by November 2026, so that the handing over and everything would tally. All the appeals and electoral tribunals will be done and concluded before May 29 handing over. But the ADC, the African Democratic Congress, they have answered. They said that proposing to do general elections in November would undermine governance in the country. They said it would mean that there will be a perpetual campaign cycle. Everybody will be focused on campaign, and this will be detrimental to governance and development. And so they are against the proposal to have our elections done by November, and so they don't start, really.
Yeah. So I have the IMF gist. They say IMF raises Nigerians' growth to 3.9%. They said the IMF has revised upward its Nigeria's growth forecast to 3.9% in 2025 and 4.1% in 2026, citing improvements in the country's macroeconomic outlook. They also said that this was said at the multinational institution, World Economic Outlook. They had an annual meeting in Washington, D.C., U.S., United States. They said Nigeria's upgrade was significant as many other economies saw significant downward revisions because of the changing international trade and official aid landscape. They said the global economy growth is projected to decline from 3.3% in 2024 to 3.2% in 2025 and 3.1% in 2026. They said the IMF Economic Counselor, that's Pierre Olivia, said the fund based its outlook for Nigeria on several improving macroeconomic indicators and supportive domestic factors. Some of them includes higher oil production, and they also said improved investor confidence and the supportive fiscal stance in 2026 and giving its limited exposure to higher U.S. tariffs. They also said that the Cardoso, who spoke during the intergovernmental group of 2024 G24 press briefing, he said the Naira has emerged as a competitive currency while the economy has been witnessing positive trade balances. According to him, another major pointer to the resilience of the economy is the fact that large businesses are moving from imports to exports of locally produced goods and commodities. He also pointed out that although global growth has been slow, but not as behind as would have been expected to be. So this is a good one.
All right, let's go on to The Guardian. Major headline in The Guardian: APC consolidates power as Mba ends PDP's 26-year reign in Enugu. PDP postpones NEC meeting indefinitely. How ASU's actions allegedly sabotage federal government's truce efforts. Federal government approves new admission reforms, raises tertiary intake to 1 million yearly. IMF Cardoso isolate Nigeria from global uncertainty, raise growth prospect. Tinubu to ECOWAS, declares stolen mineral resources an international crime. Senate seeks repatriation of Nigerian women, children held in Libyan prison. 70% of women on death row in Nigeria are mothers, study reveals. Interesting. Power plant operating below 40% capacity as grid voltage exceeds limits.
Do we have time for
let's take one.
Okay, so Nigeria's grid-connected power plants continue to operate below their installed capacities in September, with just 5,200 megawatts of electricity available out of a total of 13,625 megawatts installed, representing a plant availability factor, that's a PAF, of 38%, according to the latest operational performance fact sheet released by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, that's NEC. The report, however, painted a picture of persistent imbalance in the country's generation mix, where a limited number of plants continue to shoulder most of the grid's energy supply, despite marginal improvements in overall capacity. Now, next, that data showed a 6% month-on-month increase in available generation compared to August, yet the system remained largely constrained by low plant availability and uneven operational performance across the generation fleet. According to the fact sheet as well, average hourly generation during the month stood at 4,091 megawatts per hour, indicating 78% utilization of the available capacity. So the English, all the English is the fact that we are not generating as we should. We're generating below capacity. I was waiting to see in the report what can be done to increase our generation, but there was no time for that. That wasn't given here. So you just mentioned most of the states that have many of these issues, and we already know them. So.
Okay. So we'll take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll conclude with the papers. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Nima?
Yes, I have the 70% of women on death row in Nigeria are mothers, study by the Hope Behind Bars Africa in collaboration with the National Human Rights Commission and submitted by the World Coalition Against the Death Penalty and Friend Development Agency. So this is a subtle indictment to the Council of States on how they arrived at the candidates for the pardon. But this study shows that women are facing a very deep-rooted gender discrimination even within our prisons. They said 47% of female death row inmates are between the ages of 18 and 35. More than one-third had no formal education and only 10% completed tertiary education. 70% of the women are mothers. Many of them left behind children in unstable, fragmented care arrangements, showing, the deep problem that we have. And most of the women previously worked in informal, low-income sectors such as trading and farming, highlighting this huge link between economic vulnerability and their entry into the criminal justice system. And this study, for me, shows a subtle, there was an indictment when the initial pardon list was released by to President Buhari then, and he signed, and it was later revealed through the news that some people were paid as members of the Council of State. So this, to me, they should sit up. We are going to be auditing putting torchlight on their bombs. Study that more than one-third of the women had experienced gender-based violence, including domestic abuse, child marriage, and coercion by partners that, led to this imprisonment that they are going through, the sentences that they had. 75% of the women were unaware of the laws under which they were charged. 85% believed the laws were unfair to women, and over half considered their trials to be non-transparent. A lot of, instances where justice could have been served in reaching a pardon list. But, and then, we see 7 people
which is very closely, similar to the story here, where the Senate has urged the federal government to commence urgent diplomatic and humanitarian efforts to repatriate Nigerian women and their children currently languishing in Libyan prisons. So this resolution followed a motion that was sponsored by Senator Bassi of Cross River South on the urgent need to protect Nigerians from trafficking, slavery, and human rights abuses in Libya. We also had Senator Natasha Akoti-Duaha representing Kogi Central District, and she had asked that, she moved an additional prayer calling on the Nigerian Immigration Service and Nigerian Correctional Service to liaise with their Libyan counterparts to facilitate the repatriation of Nigerian female inmates and their children born in detention. So there's a lot of work they have to do while here, as well as, what she's asking abroad. But, the story here, according to Senator Natasha, is that many of the women were victims of human trafficking, and then they escaped, but were, they were forced into prostitution, they escaped, and then they were rearrested, and then they've been incarcerated, where they are now sexually assaulted by prison officials, and then they are giving birth to children who are in prison, born into prison, suffering even more for what they did not know anything about. And so she was saying, this is a serious problem, and we should try and hurriedly collaborate with Libyan officials to see how these women and their children can be repatriated.
Do you have a prisoners exchange treaty with Libya? I'm wondering if it's a strictly NAPTIP affair or
Issue.
it's foreign affairs matter.
All hands on deck as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this. Yeah, so Daily Sun, major headline, PDP leaders fight in court over convention. Reps wade into federal government ASU dispute. Halt dirty money influx, IMF wants Nigeria. Others, electoral reform. ADC rejects proposal to hold elections in November 2026. Federal government issues new tertiary institution admission guidelines. Mba, my movement to APC to align Enugu's vision of transformation with Tinubu's national reform. Who would like to go first? Yeah.
Okay, I already took my ADC story.
Yeah, so I have
ASU and federal
reps,
government.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the House of Representatives has raised concerns over the ongoing 2-week warning strike declared by Academic Staff Union of Universities, that's ASU, describing it as a potential threat to Nigeria's higher education stability and national development. This followed a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Sesi Oluwaseun Wigan at plenary yesterday. The lawmaker called for immediate legislative intervention to prevent the situation from escalating into another prolonged academic shutdown. He noted that the strike stemmed from unresolved issues between ASU and the federal government regarding the implementation of prior agreements, including revitalization funding for universities and academic allowances, salary structure, and institutional autonomy. He expressed concern that though the current action was described as a warning strike, similar industrial actions in the past had often degenerated into full-blown crisis that disrupted academic calendars, frustrated students, and stalled research and innovation in the schools. So the Nigerian university system remains central to our national development, according to him, innovation and human capital growth. Any disruption in its operation weakens our economic competitiveness and scientific advancement and youth productivity, according to him. So he went ahead to cite Section 18 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and he emphasized that education was a constitutional responsibility and a driver of social technological process, adding that both government and university unions must ensure its continuity and equality. So there's a committee on legislative compliance that has been directed to monitor and report the progress of the mediation efforts to the House within 1 week. So let's see how that goes.
Okay, so I have the gist from IMF. They say halt dirty money influx. They said the IMF has warned Nigeria and other emerging economies to step up efforts to curb the inflow of dirty money, saying that they pose serious risk to financial stability, public trust, governance, and the country's global reputation. He also said that, stressed that robust governance system and effective anti-money laundering frameworks are now indispensable for sustaining growth and attracting investment, particularly in nations battling high public debt and widespread financial leakages. She has also urged the government to look into it and make sure that all of this can be curbed. She also explained that the IMF now integrates anti-money laundering and governance diagnostic into its article reviews and lending programs, enabling countries to identify and correct institutional weaknesses before they escalate into crisis. She also said that she also revealed that the fund has introduced a new anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism strategy, which will be applied more broadly across member nations to trace illicit flows, strengthen financial oversight, and reinforce debt transparency. So she's just making sure that we should all know that they are putting a lot of things in place too. Okay,
let's look at the Vanguard. Illegal financial outflows worsening Nigeria's revenue problem, IMF. Ramotu just took that. Madagascar's president flees as court declares seat vacant. Okpebolo to commissioners, always wear Tinubu's cap during ESCO meetings. ASU reps move to avert breakdown in varsity system. NLC draws battle line with federal government over education crisis. FIFA 2026, South Africa celebrates as Osimhen sends Nigeria to playoff. Why I dumped PDP for APC and we've taken that. Okay, not yet. Math no longer compulsory for arts candidates, says federal government, and we've taken that as well. Defections, we want Nigerians of APC one-party game plan, says Wabara. Dangote Refinery deploys CNG trucks to distribute petrol at 850 naira per litre in response to yesterday's news.
But it doesn't mean that they will not set us at 850.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, but that's good news. I have Edo, and I'm so proud of my governor.
Which of them now?
Yes, Governor Pewolo of Edo State. He appointed, swore into office 19 commissioners yesterday, and in attendance, of course, was his deputy, as well as the Minister for Justice, Minister of the Attorney General of the Federation, and the Minister of Justice in Nigeria, Lateef Fagbemi, who was present physically. And I'm taking this from the Tribune's angle because the Vanguard was funny. Okay. The governor, yes, the governor emphasized that these appointments were not, they were based on merit, and they were not just rewards for maybe any political role any of these appointees made. He said their nomination did not come as a reward or their patronage. It is a call to serve the people of Edo State. He said the focus of his administration is on service delivery and tangible results for Edo State, and they are not here for propaganda. They are commissioners who must deliver. He said that, and it is not a money-making venture for them, that this is for service and sacrifice and for a better life for the people of Edo State. And his administration has zero tolerance for corruption, in case any of these commissioners is having wide dreams. And he so charged them to see their new positions as an opportunity to contribute. But they, because he's a very loyal governor.
Because I would say, they say always wear.
Yes, he told them, he said, if they are wearing any native attire, they are not wearing any suits, he says that they should come to the ESCO meetings in their Shiwaju cap, emphasizing that he couldn't have gotten into office without the president's support. And he's a loyalist, and I don't fault him. This time around, I'm agreeing with him on this one. Yes, if he wants his ESCO members to don the cap, I think it's fine, because he has said it. What if the president didn't work for him? We've had people who, during the former president's administration, who did not have his full support during their state government elections. So if this one and he's loyal, he wants to be grateful. So there's nothing wrong with the virtue of gratitude, which I support. So he has asked them that if you are wearing native, come here. And he added, if you did not wear the cap, we will send you, you go back home.
Can you imagine?
We've run out of time. I really wanted to take Madagascar president, who's fled, as he's been reported to have fled the country as a result of the crisis going on in the country. So that's all we can take on the papers this morning. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at our hot topics. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. So the Federal Ministry of Education has announced that mathematics will no longer be a compulsory requirement for arts and humanities students seeking admission into universities and polytechnics. The move aims to remove barriers while maintaining academic standards. However, it has divided opinion nationwide. Supporters hail it as a progressive reform that relieves art students of an unnecessary hurdle, while critics argue it could lower educational standards and weaken academic rigor. The key question now is whether this policy promotes inclusivity or undermines the value of education. And as usual, you can join the conversation on 0201 635 2013 or 0902 416 3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. Ladies, when I saw this news, I thought, I have to be honest, I was divided. At first, I thought, I think, it's important that we move with the times. I know that for many schools, like abroad, there are some courses that you need to do. You don't necessarily have to have a credit, in math. You can have a pass, things like that. But I know that for us in Nigeria, it's important that you must have a credit. So not just a pass, credit, no matter what it is that you're studying. So the part of me that agrees with it is, you know, it allows for those who their strength may not necessarily be math, but they're so good at the career that they are, you know, looking to pursue. And sometimes that math can stall their progress for many years until they are finally able to get it. And yet, I know how important math is, and I feel that by saying it's not important anymore, people will not put in the work that they need to put in to learn math for what it stands for. It's not just about, you know, passing papers. It encourages critical thinking, and you know, it shows up in our life in so many ways. There's so many of us here that say, I hated math, but we're doing businesses, doing all sorts of things that it requires that math. So for me, that is my own dilemma. Like, is this really forward thinking, or we need to rethink this? Ladies, who would like to go? For the math failures.
Finally.
Lawyers.
Thank you, Minister for Education. SS1, I won't forget when my results came out. I had my C's and A's, and I was looking, but I had an F in maths. I was advised to repeat my class for just failing maths. And I was not an officer's child, because I went to a military school. And so I'd already given up. I went home, I went into my parents had never seen me more sober. I entered one corner because there was no miracle that could have been done. This is not my strength. No matter how I read the book from morning to December, I'm just seeing numbers flying, nothing sticking. And so one parent's child who had even a more better result than my own, I think his child had all A's, wrote to the education department under the Ministry of Defense, like, what's nonsense? How will my child fail only maths and be asked to repeat the class? Me, I'd already left science class to arts class so that I can escape this, and yet I was advised to repeat my class. And so when I read this, I was like, where are the parents now? They should come and read. Because we were arguing as young ones then that this does not show the strength of brilliance for any child. And a lot of us who are arts inclined, or I was science inclined, but just not a maths strength.
Wow. My
kids are science inclined, and you see them, they try to do, but a lot of things were not just gelling when it comes to that numbers because of the foundation that we had. My daughter's recent results in maths, I was like, are you sure that me born you? You know, because I suffered for that particular subject. There was nothing that, my parents hired a special teacher for maths for me from that SS1 till I wrote my WAEC. Uncle John, I always say it whenever I would talk about this thing. He was teaching me every day, and days that he would teach me and I would not get a thing because I'm tired, upside down. There was a problem foundational wise for me. And a lot of us then, we would have been able to, you know, pass it a little. It was because the primary school teachers did not help our matter, they did not help our life.
Didn't know how to teach.
It's because I have suffered that I'm doing better with my kids. And so this cannot now be a strength of anybody's intelligence, because there are several fields of intelligence.
Yeah, nine.
Some people are linguists. In humanities, what do you even need maths for, really? In humanities, what do you need it for? I'm a critic. Don't you see my critical thinking?
It's math.
No, it's not.
That's when we give you numbers.
It's
now.
not.
Exactly.
Even now, when you give me numbers, it's better because I'm using my maturity.
If you give her the numbers in naira,
if you are giving me, if you put naira in front, of course, the maths must math. If you are giving me in those days at the age of, I remember, I got to secondary school 9. Brilliant as I was, I did not know nari. I depended on my sister for maths, and we're in the same class. Every time we were doing an homework, I'm hanging on my sister's neck, because fortunately for me, unfortunately, she doesn't like the fact that she's 2 years older than I am and we're in the same class. I hung onto her like a leech for everything maths. I misbehaved for that course, and you cannot judge that. A lot of children students who went to school together have done amazing things without it. So test people who, in their core areas of knowledge, maths was important, engineering, maybe not even medicine. I think medical students to argue against it. Yes. Really, well done.
So you don't talk. Ramatu, you're a businesswoman. Let me hear you.
Tell us how your math is.
You know, when I heard that, when that policy came out, I was very happy. I was happy because, do you know that when I was in secondary school, I didn't like my maths teacher because he taught that subject. That subject was one of the most difficult subjects in the whole of this thing. And just like you mentioned when you said that, you know, we need maths in our daily whatever. We need maths from in our primary school, that's understanding mathematics. I am still understanding mathematics up to now. That textbook, every time they bring it up. Do you know that division, that long division, up to today, I still don't understand how you carry it, keep it one side. Okay, so now in my daily activity now, will I now, okay, when something is happening, I will now come and be drawing that division and everything. And you know, in maths, you must show.
It's find X that kill us.
I know in maths,
for X.
I know in maths, you must show workings. You must show workings. It's not like when you get the answer straight up, you just put it. You must show workings. I remember how many, and maths particular, that subject, I learned it with flogging. You have to flog me for it to enter again. Apart from the one you teach me in the class, so you have to make sure that thing, because when I come, when you put the thing on, maybe you give us
and go.
And we and tell us to solve this thing. If we solve it, I'll get to a certain stage and I'll be stuck. So you have to flog me to be able to complete.
Oh my goodness.
To complete, so that my brain will
so
charge and everything. There were teachers we didn't like. I know I had some friends, Deborah, if you are watching, Deborah Ogalahi, and so they don't like maths. Whenever the maths teacher comes, they already know.
So was it math or was it the teacher?
All the subject and the person, anything
was a problem.
Like, it was a problem.
How about your kids? How are they coping?
Yeah, my kids they are doing very well in maths. You know, now the way they teach them the maths is different now. It's different, unlike before. You know, we're already, you know, our parents have already made us to feel like, oh, look, if you are good in maths, that means automatically you're an intelligent person, you are smart and everything. So when you now understand that maths like that, I think you will do very well in your other subjects and everything. And just like what Nima said, even me too, after when my result came out, I had a C in maths, but I know of a lot of my friends who, because of that, because they had F and P, they couldn't get into university. They couldn't get into university for a very long time because they kept on writing. They will pass all the other subjects. But you see that maths, that one that they're looking for, it will come out F or P, honestly. So that was how we
initial thoughts, but because you've also been a teacher, maybe when you could add that. For me, is this about the teaching or is it just the subject?
I think it's about the teaching. So first of all, I think we are not solving the root cause of the issues why students are not passing maths. I know that there are like 9 types of intelligences. They have a mathematical intelligence. Those ones, they don't even need any teaching. Once they see the numbers, they're able to sort it out. They have it. We have linguistics, we have spatial, we have existential. There's so many intelligences, about 9, according to Howard Gardner. And I understand perfectly that because the foundation, like Nima rightly said, is wrong in maths, many of our teachers, at the time that they were teaching us, is a lot different now. You can see that with our children now. But at the time they were teaching us, they did not even understand how to teach every child in the classroom. Understanding that we have different learning patterns as children. And that is what working in an international school helped me understand, that every child in the class should not be taught the same way. So we have children who are, I would like to use the word, they are mathematical. We have others who are, maybe language now, who, when you are teaching someone who's tilted towards language, for instance, mathematics, or a kinesthetic child, you are not supposed to just write on the board and move away. For people who are visual, they can see what you are writing, they are logical, they can pick it and understand. Many children will not understand it. But because the teachers were not trained to handle every child, one of the things I learned was for me to prepare a lesson note in class. I have to pay attention to all the learning needs of the children. So that lesson note, one note for one subject, that lesson note, I will pay attention to auditory children. I will pay attention to visual children. I'll pay attention to kinesthetic children. Many of us, I'm sure Nima she's still kinesthetic, will not be able to sit still and hear you talk in class. Imagine if you had brought these bottles now, bottle cover. You put it on suwe. Counters. Or you jump over and jump over. We will understand it.
But when you're doing quadratic equations, you have this kind of bottle top.
No, hold on. We're talking about foundation.
Okay, yeah.
So you build that confidence in the child. Even in the quadratic equation, there are ways you can apply kinesthetic teaching to it. Give them tasks to do and explain the meaning of that task, and they get it. So we didn't go through that. We didn't have that. So it made it impossible for us to understand maths. But maths is very important, whether you are a logical brain or you are creative brain. Some of us here are creative brains.
Bisi, I'll let you finish with your thoughts when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still discussing the new mathematics policy, way forward or not. And Bisi, you're still sharing your initial thoughts.
So I was saying
matter.
that whether you have a creative brain or you have a logical brain, math is like a foundation that grounds you. And it's not something we should just do away with because you're going to have to specialize in something else. That's why the universities come into play. You are there to now specialize in whether it's law you want to study or it's a fine art you want to do or music or whatever it is. But that foundation, we should not remove it. We should not lift it because it sort of grounds you at that basis. There are many people who will not have an opportunity to go to universities. So if we now say, okay, maths is not really needed, how do we create that balanced foundation? No matter how creative you are, you also need a form of logic. No, hold on. No. You also need a form of logic. So what we should be focusing on is, and even this excuse that a lot of people are not able to get into universities. How many universities do we have? We will always have people who will not get into universities part-time because the universities are not enough, one. The campuses for the universities are also not enough. Even if we push out everybody writes JAM, passes the mathematics, there will still not be enough space to take them. So that is not so much of an excuse. What we need to start doing now is to go to the core, the foundation, and ensure that this mathematics is taught properly, that everybody understands it. Children will always find a way when something is not interesting. It's how you're able to catch their interest. And once they get it, after you write your WAEC, you can go back and do your law or do whatever you want to do. But to say that we are going to have to drop it... You're
afraid of the impact that would have. So we have Hassan on the line. Hassan from Lekki, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Good
morning. The removal of our English language as prerequisite is a good tidings to everybody.
Mathematics.
To everybody. It's a good tidings to everybody.
Okay.
Because mathematics is a calling that is not for everybody. Some people are good in mathematics, some are not. And imposition of mathematics denied a lot of people admission, and it stagnates their progress educationally. But that's why that people will still come across mathematics in their course of studies in universities.
Yes.
But that one is a bit tolerable.
Is it?
People can get away with that one.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the point of entry, making mathematics compulsory is not fair. And that was why I said it's a good tidings to all. Secondly, I want to say something about demand, your first guest this morning.
Okay.
Demand came up with something very, very important. You see, Lagos State is saturated with educated, illiterate people. A lot of people buy land without knowing the town planning. A lot of people that are buying land in the Ekpe, Badagry, this and that, speculating They don't know anything. Most of them are buying farmland. And that farmland will never be compromised by the Lagos State government. A lot of estates were built on farmland. So people should be very, very careful. Good morning.
Good morning, Hassan. Hassan says that if math is harder, I'm wondering, if math is harder at entry level, why is it more tolerable in university?
Okay, so making it an entry level requirement, this isolates students who ordinarily might have a bit of understanding of it, but they cannot get a C at it.
Okay.
So that was what affected most of us, that we were struggling. If I were to do a management course, for instance, I would never get admission. Because, yes, I had a C in maths later, but it was a struggle. If it was required without
How many years did it take you?
It was immediate. I wrote my first WAEC in 99 and I aced it.
We'll talk about it later.
No, they want me to borrow. They want me to boast. Let me boast. My parents' money did not born. So I had all the years when I started, because of the shock of what happened in SS1, I was later allowed to go through. I started compiling what I call a maths dictionary.
Okay.
Every formula, I wrote it in a small jotter I bought.
Look at that.
And I wrote it.
Critical
so you know,
thinking.
critical thinking, don't they? But this is, I wrote it out. And every time somebody had to force me, I would just refer to it to solve a problem. But I couldn't get it because 2 days to my WAEC, somebody stole it from me. I used to boast about it, carry it around.
Another critical
But I was
thinker.
able to enter maths. Guess what I did? For every maths question I solved at my WAEC, I didn't have a conclusive answer. Another critical thinking. Put the formula method and leave the answer, so in case the answer was wrong. So I was probably marked for methods.
Yeah.
But what
Before
I
you
was
go
saying is
into that, let me just
Okay,
take
take-
Debbie from Abuja and then we'll come back to you. Debbie, good morning.
so Debbie, don't vex. So if you put it as an entry-level requirement, it will cause non-inclusivity for most of us who were arts inclined, who were doing well in other courses. We would ace it naturally, but we will be we have anxiety around maths.
Yeah.
A lot of us writing the WAEC,
Which is
come
okay.
and see maths day, there was serious tension, and then the teachers did not help us. So you had asked the question of teachers.
Yes.
I had an amazing maths teacher in school from SS1 to 3. I'd mentioned him on the show. He changed his name, so I can't remember. It was either Feromi or his new Christian name.
Okay.
Father Onsi or his new Christian name. But then, in SS3, we had Sheweje, who thought you could beat maths. When Ramatu was saying that, I was just looking at who beats maths into a student. One of us was brought before the class one time, and she was asked a simple question as 3 times 4. We were all whispering to her, 12.
Holy.
She wrote 21.
Oh.
She changed it to 29. Each time she missed it, she was beaten
Oh.
in front of the whole class.
Yeah.
She was beaten till she could not even answer the question again. She just stayed lied down for this man to beat her. How do you teach and torture and traumatize a child into a subject? That subject and that child will never see eye to
Never.
eye. And so it was something that we suffered as children. Whereas foundational-wise, if somebody had helped us, when my child was in nursery school and we're doing online class in 2020, and teacher was saying to him, Imran, 2 plus 1, and he did not answer. I don't know it. I said, ask him 2 cars plus 1.
Simple.
And she just said, Imran,
aesthetic
2
thinking.
cars plus 1 car. Oh, 3 cars. And he moved on. Because he was into cars at the time.
Yeah.
Toy cars were
Thank
the
you.
thing.
Yeah.
But she was going on and on.
So that's what the
he did not
problem
get
is,
it. Do a stroke. I said, this one, no, they use stroke. The sister can use stroke. But you see this one, you ask him with
car.
items. What he likes. That's how we did homework at home. And when he does his homework, he'll seem like I did it for him. But no, I know my child. Most of the teachers, they did not bother to engage us.
You're right.
They
This
make
your story
sure
reminds me
us.
of when my son was asked to draw a picture of his family in pre-primary. And he drew us as dinosaurs.
Away.
Daddy dinosaur, mommy dinosaur, him dinosaur, and his sister dinosaur. Let's go on the short break. When we'll come back, we'll continue with our conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. Nima, you were...
Yeah, so I was saying, you know, the teachers, didn't do well in learning how to teach us.
Yeah.
Most of them, once they qualify, well, back then, I don't know what the new requirements are, as a maths teacher, they just come to class with their formulas and their examples, and you're still struggling to understand. See, tomorrow, where X and Y go? I don't know where. Find the X, find the Y, we're still struggling with it. I never, but my husband used to tell me how he was also struggling with maths, and then he aced maths all his life. He said the moment he learned to ace maths, it was a first class product. He just could, do everything. I think the children got it from him anyways.
Ramatu,
Okay,
you
so
see, Ramatu, we have a... Okay, we have a call.
Yeah.
Esther from Shomolu. Good morning, Esther.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning. I'm calling from Shomolu.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Hello. Okay. I think the problem is from the foundation, as one of my sisters said. It's from the foundation. You see, the teacher has been able to teach very well, and you taking that mindset to go to a secondary school level. I think that's what the foundation is. The problem, the government actually needs to work on the foundation. That primary school, everything, you need to work on that. The teacher not being able to explain very well for the kids.
Okay,
That's what the problem like. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Ramatu, I was going to say, right, that all of us here, we have explained how just the way we were taught has affected us. So if teaching is the problem, right, why don't we instead invest in better teaching techniques, better teachers, instead of taking it out? Let me tell you why I feel so. Because my fear is when you say something is not that important, people are not going to put they'll put very little or no effort towards it. And whether we like it or not, math shows up in our daily lives. I would not like to deal with a businesswoman who does not know how to calculate my change, or things like that. So how do you see that?
So first of all, as a businesswoman, that's money. Once there is naira or dollar or whatever in front, we'll calculate it perfectly well. We'll do it well. We can do all the almighty formula to get to that amount. So when it comes to business, it's a different thing entirely. So like what BC said, I don't think taking it out totally is somehow. At least let's do the maths, but let's not be gradable. Is it gradable or what?
Let's not be the prerequisite.
Let's not make it compulsory that you must get a C. If you can get a P, it's fine, but not F at least. But I'll make sure that at least you'll be able to get a pass mark, so that we'll be able to, not to remove it totally. Because
but haven't you noticed that most people who fail maths, so yes, there are some people who are very good in some subjects, but then they fail just maths. But most people also who fail maths tend not to do so well in other subjects. I've seen that.
Yes, because they've already, so foundation, right from when we were little. Like, I'll give you a typical example of me. Right from when I was little, the fear of maths has already been put in me.
Yes.
Okay. I had a teacher, when I was in primary school, I was in primary 4. When he comes into the class, you wake up, good morning, sir. 10 times 5. 5 times 6. 50. If you fail it. This is go to the front of the class and face the board, or you kneel down. You understand? So once it's time for that maths teacher to come in, we're already scared. We're already traumatized. We're already, scared. So most of us will take the back of our exercise book. That time there's always timetable at the back of your set.
Yeah.
We'll start cramming. We don't learn it. We'll be cramming. Then I will now tell my maybe person that is sitting close to me. I'll tell him that, okay, please do 9 times. You do 9 times. Me, I will do 8 times. So if they ask you any question, I will just quickly tell you the answer. He will just come in 5 times 10. 5, And that was how we got scared of maths. So from then, I've been scared of maths.
So you've been traumatized.
Yes, I've been traumatized.
So maybe we need psychologists and therapists to help us. Yeah, but we have Chijioke from Enugu. Good morning, Chijioke.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, my little contribution to what you are saying.
Go ahead, Chijioke. We can hear you. Just listen to your phone.
My little contribution for what I'm trying to say. Minister for Education needs to do some work in every. Yes. I said,
Chijioke, you're listening to the TV. Listen to your phone instead of the TV. Speak to us directly on your phone. Don't listen to the TV. It's delayed. Okay.
Okay, so I think we need to understand that this is the age of mathematics. Are we sitting on a bicycle? Are we trying to play with our lives and our future right now? Where the world is going AI, we were removing the little one that we even have. It's not like we have gone AI in the world.
And that mass where they teach us now.
No. That's why I said we have to fix it from the foundation. Once we fix it from the foundation, these kids will not run away from maths. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When we failed maths, what happened? We went back to the drawing board. We read it, we understood it, and we passed it.
No, we read it for the exams.
No. What else did you not read for the exam? I read everything for the exams. No, hold on now. So don't get into my thought. I read everything for the exams, and that's how, unfortunately, our educational system is. They don't teach you to create, they teach you to read and pass. That's what we're also trying to solve. But by taking out mathematics, is not going to help us solve it. We should look at how do we teach our students to understand. See, I'm raising 3 children. And let me brag a little. They say scientifically that the children take their mother's brain. And even though I did not know maths like that, all my children are smart. So when their father wants to yab me that, but you don't know maths, I say, but it's my brain they took, and all of them know maths. What's the difference? If I had put those kids in the sort of educational system that I found myself, I would have struggled. But they are acing the maths. In fact, my little daughter was like, when I was explaining to her that, do you know that I failed maths at some point, I had to repeat a class. And she looked at me and was like, Mommy, who fails maths? It was strange to her that people don't fail math, right? Because of the foundation. That's what the Ministry of Education should be looking into. How do we fine-tune our foundation in such a way that children fall in love with every subject? At least that basics. When we get into the university, we can now cherry pick what we want to study. But you see that foundation, the maths that I hated and ran away from because of my lack of foundation in the mathematics has caught up with me in business. The last meeting that I had, the consultant told me, Madam, go and find a course on mathematics. So we cannot
keep doing this again.
I was so embarrassed. We cannot keep doing this because even when the accountant sent in the numbers, I'm struggling to understand the numbers. And the consultant was like, you have to do a course in math, at least understand the basics. And I did MBA. I still read and passed and forgot. Understand the basics so that when they bring it, if there's a mistake, if they are eating your money, you are able to look at the numbers and know that things don't add up. Anywhere we go in life, we are going to meet mathematics. It's the foundation. This phone we are using is maths. Science is maths. Our television, our tablet, everything, even the structure of the foundation of the universe is in numbers. We cannot but do this
so
maths.
what I hear you, BC, is we need to learn the foundational mathematics to help us in our daily life. But what we're discussing, right, is that it should not be a prerequisite.
It should be.
I'm saying what the new policy is saying is that it should no longer be a prerequisite to get into university. But we're afraid that even the foundational maths will now be at a risk because we think we should not take it. But there's another.
Be at a risk. Okay. So these are the subjects that we'll all be exposed to. You know, sometimes we're even saying that schools, even in secondary school, start to expose kids towards ask what their strengths are and focus on those strengths as opposed to just, opening maths and English to everybody. I would give a typical example because BC just explained about kids. I have 2. So which person's brain?
Maybe they know maths now.
I'm coming somewhere. Okay. My daughter struggled naturally with maths. And we were doing it together because I was helping her at home. She had no elder teacher until she was in primary 4. And I said to her when she got to primary 4, I said, this level of maths now, they show secrets. At this point, I need a teacher. I struggled with maths. The day she heard it, she dropped effort. If it was natural like her brother, he won't drop effort. He still enjoys maths. And he's not, they're both my kids now. So the point I'm trying to make is that even if something was a subject, but it was not a compulsory entry-level struggle, there will be little anxiety. I would not even have had to say to her, we need to get you a maths teacher. If it wasn't an entry-level compulsory requirement. It was an entry-level compulsory requirement. Imagine that our entry-level compulsory requirements were in her strength subjects. We won't be talking this. Somebody that was a gold medalist in all her sports. Every sport she did in her life, she was a gold medalist. She was a good option, but we killed sports for her to focus only on academics in secondary school. And so she's giving us the A's we want in maths. Because now she's focusing on it. It most likely might be the method I used, which is understand it for the passing of the exam and let them go. Because the moment I passed exam in my WAEC, in maths in my WAEC, I struggled with it in my exam.
So you're saying that when we insist that they should focus on what is not their strength, what is their strength, they will even
for some of them didn't. Some of us didn't do sciences. I had a A1 in my junior WAEC sciences, and my school was compulsorily putting me in science class. But today, I'm only science at my day. I went on and did law. My point is, if it was a compulsory entry-level requirement for me to pass all subjects, including sciences, what do I need it for in law? Today, you understand my point. Let us kuku say all subjects are compulsory and see how, or find your feet in and get a compulsory for required subject. Children will pick subjects that would incline towards what they would study. It will help them focus and move on, as opposed to, struggling to find one math that is not mathing something.
Okay.
You can pass it on.
For our viewers, we'll be cutting off to join a live broadcast of the passing out of Katsina State Community Watch Corps. Viewers can continue watching Your View by scanning the QR code on the screen right now.
There's what they call a balanced diet. Even if you choose to eat only plantain, the doctors will tell you that plantain, that's the only thing. Once they bring food, is only plantain you want to eat, it will not work for you. You need to balance it. There'll be fats and oil, there'll be vegetables, there'll be, a protein and all that. To just give you that balanced diet. It doesn't mean that you take out your favorite or what is not your favorite. Now, why am I saying this? Children naturally, especially the kind of children we have these days, even in the things they love to do, if you leave them, they can drop effort. I'm dealing with it. I have kids that they are gifted in this, they are skilled in that particular thing, and what's going on now? I don't feel like, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to anymore. And that's it. So if we don't sit and say, okay, this is a requirement, you are not going to do this math for the rest of your life. But you see, for you to be able to get into this place, please make sure that you give me at least a C.
But what do you do as a mother? How would you feel if after you know that your child is doing their best, but every time they try, math always holds them back? Would this not be something that you would be happy about? But before we continue, let's go on the short break and we'll come back and continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us, Ramatu.
So I wanted to say that taking out maths will make our education system look a bit unserious, because to compete to all these international exams, most of them, they will test you for maths. We have SAT. Look at even you have SAT, we have GMAT. GMAT is maths, so you must know how to. So I'm thinking if they take out this math, how are our kids going to be able to compete, globally? When it comes to global, maybe if they are taking decisions and all of those things, how would they compete globally? So I think the education minister needs to sit down and reevaluate and think critically about it.
So that we don't mix it up. It's just saying a prerequisite to get into university for arts and humanities. Yes. So it's not for everything. So for those who are doing sciences, it's still a prerequisite. But if you're going for arts and humanities, all the other subjects, it shouldn't be that you must get credit, maybe a pass, but you will still be taught in secondary school your mathematics. But you were going to say something about...
If it's not needed for me, like for instance, those of us who did humanities and arts, we know that we're not even going to write.
You do humanities, you did social science.
Social sciences, yes.
That's different.
I was supposed to do. You see, so I even needed myself. I was supposed to do arts. Yes, my father forced me into the social sciences. So, but if we know that we don't need it, for instance, if we are doing arts and humanities, we will not put extra effort. Yeah. See, there's a reason that
to go and learn theater arts and drama.
See,
what math do I need?
Do you know that even in acting you need calculation? You should be able to calculate when the person stops speaking so that you can enter
the calculator.
Everything, no.
How much mathematics when need
people should leave us.
Everything requires calculation. In music, Music, you have to be mathematically brain.
Yes,
to be able to
music
do
is a kind of science.
It is a science.
Music is a
So for you to be able to do music effectively, you must be good in mathematics because you have to follow the beats, you have to follow the rhythms. Everything is everything in the universe is mathematics.
So I must agree that we need a total overhaul of our education system.
That one day.
Focus on children or students areas foundational wise.
Yeah.
And discover children from those foundations.
Thank you.
But entry level requirement for a subject really can franchise what's the word?
And then if we take out
if
we take out math for arts and humanities, do we take out English for sciences? Because I remember when we were in school, there's some students that were so good in all the science subjects, math, further math, physics, chemistry. They hated English
language. If only we were
language.
South Africa with 4 official languages, it would work.
We
It's because it's just the only privilege this language is
those people also fail
official language. It's only for official language that English is enjoying. I don't see why it is compulsory.
No. But we are speaking exactly.
So that's why that's the only privilege is enjoying. That's why they cannot remove it at entry level.
You know this when you are presenting, so you are picking the subjects. So for instance, you are going for arts, and the only thing that is stressing you there is one maths, because you are not picking, aside from the maths and English, you have an opportunity to pick 3 other subjects.
Yes.
You pick your favorites. We must not all do, in life, we need to understand that we must not do everything we love. Sometimes we need to do the things we don't love to get to the what we love.
Yes. Maths and English is compulsory.
Yes. Then 3 subjects that you like.
2 subjects that you like.
No, it's 5.
3,
now.
5.
Okay,
You must have 5
I'm talking
credits,
about,
yes.
I'm not talking about JAM. I'm
Must
talking
have
about
5
WAEC,
credits.
which is the prerequisite now. So 2 compulsory
be
subjects, and then 3 of the
other.
ones that you love, whether it's the fine
Total
art or
5.
any other thing. So if you cannot sacrifice and sit down and be resilient, and we're complaining that our young people today don't have a form of resilience, if you fail the math, you will write it again and you will pass it.
Can we understand the levels of maths? I never failed the quantitative exam.
Different
it's a form of maths. Maths day. Further maths still day. Senior brother day.
Do that.
No.
We didn't do that.
It was for some levels of maths inclination. Maths itself is for some level.
Yes.
But you see, those of us on quantitative, we can still trade our market.
I like how you keep calling quantitative.
Yes.
Primary school.
Maths na maths. I wanted to take comments.
Please take the comments.
So, Engineer Tijani says, good morning to the ladies. Numeracy is the foundation to understand and work with numbers, which is needed in our day-to-day activities. Maths is more than numeracy. If your choice of career has nothing to do with it, why should you bother about it? I believe this might be the angle the Ministry of Education is viewing it from. We can argue this, and it is a win-win for all.
Okay. I just remember, of course, primary school is reading, writing, arithmetic. I remember that's on reading, writing, arithmetic. But then beyond arithmetic is what we're saying. Don't hold somebody's destiny down because they have to get maths. Do you have any?
So Donyak said math trains the brain to break down complex problems into smaller, manageable steps.
Okay.
Nigeria now than ever needs more logical thinkers and problem solvers.
Thank you.
Do you know what? Do you know? Let me tell you one of the things I wrote
agree
on my notes. But I've been thinking of how to bring it in before Nigerians come for me. I know that a lot of us keep screaming, Nigerians, the way we behave, we don't have head. We have not created anything. We have not done anything. I said, are you sure it does not have anything to do with our trauma with math? Many of us don't like math because of how it was taught to us. Many of us don't want to have anything to do with math. Maybe some of our issues is that we have to look to maths now to help us to become those sort of more constructive sort of people, more critical thinking, more logical. Now, when we remove it, we will be able to handle each other, even in traffic. Do you understand? If you are logical and you're in traffic, there's a way that you need to drive, knowing that there's another person behind you or in front of you or beside you. But we don't. Sometimes we just move around without
because we don't know maths.
Well, let me take Andrew. Andrew says quantitative reasoning or mathematics is quantitative mathematics.
Okay.
Moses Oluwakemi says, they are greeting themselves. Time Media says, math is not compulsory for art courses all over the world. There is no need to announce it as a policy. Talking to our minister. So, Ramatu, that's your maths compulsory. I think they do that for foreign students more. And they are more lenient on the side of their people there. But really, someone said, how will you budget in humanity without mathematics? Moses Ade. Afsa says, exactly, Miriam, you will still be taught, but you mustn't get the credit to gain admission.
Exactly.
I agree. My own bone of contention here is that do not make it
hit difficult things in the world.
Let me just give one small comedy gist.
Okay.
So GCE 1998, I wrote maths. And on the day of maths, it was a Saturday. I wrote it by a cathedral. I just dropped my pen. I did not write anything. I watched the wedding because it was giving me anxiety, palpitation.
Just lazy.
So when my results came out, they dropped my ear, my nose, my tongue. My father was like, I give up.
You don't want to
They struggled. He said, you, if you don't, this is your work that's coming up, this is your main work. If you don't pass maths, that's the end of it.
You're just lazy.
So I had to do everything to pass it.
You didn't want to
It was not something that
So you see,
anytime I
when
see
you
it,
saw your
results, when you
it
not
was
happy,
too tough. I dropped even my result. They seized the exam first. I thought I would not pass until they released it and it was a C4.
Were you
I was
not
like,
happy?
finally, because
When
I didn't
saw my
conclude any
C,
question.
With all the effort I put in, I was happy. I felt I had achieved something.
No, I was relieved.
Okay, thank you.
I was relieved.
What did Rabatu get? Because
Come on,
Rabatu
bro.
required.
got a C.
Okay,
I got a C.
fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's
All
how
right,
she's doing
ladies.
business.
Thank you
I
so
believe
much,
the
ladies.
business.
That's all
I
we
just
can
need
take on
money.
the show today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting conversation.
I just need money.
Bye.
Leave the number.